Welcome back. It's Thursday, December 14th in the year of our Lord 2023. I'm Nick. With me, as always, is TJ. Anthony's on the way, and we're your Scoreboard Addicts, and this is our podcast, and we're here to talk about the local ongoings, the New York area, and the greater sporting world. How you feeling today, T?
I'm after that intro, dude. Like, nailed it. I'm feeling good. Holy shit, starting off right, Nick.
Yeah, you're looking swole, bro.
Yes, that's what happens when you intake a lot of salt and alcohol and carbs.
Where's the my point of me to, where the gym's at?
Yeah, that away.
Did you put that tree up yourself?
Yeah, you know what? It's really easy. Amazon makes it very just kind of clicks in together. Unfortunately, we went fake tree last year.
I was really leading you toward that one back there. Yeah,
I actually can't flex that much because there's actually no muscle mass underneath the skin. It's just flab. But like those dudes that put the oil in their skin that makes them look swole, and then eventually their skin ruptures and just whatever. I'm taking that in a weird direction.
Oh yeah, I got strange for a second. That's all right.
That was one of those like on TikTok, and it's like 3:00 in the morning. I can't sleep, and it's like, how the fuck did I get down this rabbit hole of things that people do to themselves, and it's horrible but awesome at the same time.
Awesome. Speaking of awesome, the Back It Up Binge podcast chiming in. Good evening back at you.
What's up, brother?
I'll give you the Al Borland salute. But we're back. This is our last show before the big AC vacation. No, not vacation. The AC trip next week. So every year, for those that follow, we do our trip down to Atlantic City around Christmas time, and for a night of, just getting the guys together and fucking doing man shit, smoking cigars, drinking whiskey, fucking eating steak and clogging arteries. We're gonna have this year. We're having 2 delicious breakfasts. I cannot wait. The 2 breakfasts, we're actually going to go to Hash House A Go-Go, completely unsponsored. If you haven't been to Hash House, it's in Vegas. It's in Atlantic City. It's delicious. Fucking
I've
delicious.
Actually never been to Hash House A Go-Go, so I'm excited.
No, that's the scene of where I made. All right, so at freaking Matt's bachelor party, we went to Hash House A Go-Go. That is where I made Chris McCormick cry about the Mets. In retrospect, I kind of feel bad about it.
You leave Chris.
I basically badmouthed the New York Mets so badly that our friend cried. It was like,
I feel him. I'm right there with him because as Jet fans, like, wouldn't it be easy to cry like week after week? But then again, I think we're so jaded and ruined on the inside that like angst and anger just bubbles over the sadness, and we eventually like just go to work one day and hit somebody over the head with a guitar, Jeff Jarrett style.
I don't think Jets fans are as bad as Met fans come into the season every year with a lot of hope. Every year. It's not like once in a blue. Every season in March, Met fans are like super like, this is our year. Jet fans, it happens like once every 6 years, every 5 years. Like this year, we really felt like
this year was one of those years.
Because of Aaron Rodgers. But last year, I don't think Jet fans felt that way at all.
Nothing.
I don't think Jet fans felt like the year before.
Yeah, but you know what? You could feel for the Met fans because the Mets honestly do make a big splash, whether it's through, hot stove in the offseason or trades during the year or making a couple moves before the trade deadline. Like the Mets are always in the mix to do something interesting, right? And it just doesn't seem to pan out for them. Whether it's, at one point they probably had the best starting rotation on paper for like a 4 or 5 year stretch. However, none of those guys ever pitched together in a full season.
They never made it to July.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so bad things befall Met fans. So I like, you know, my heart goes out to them because they have something to be pissed off about.
Yeah, but again, it's no one's fault for getting excited about it. But let's get into it. Let's get into, you know what? Rook's not here yet. Let's get into something we don't want to hear his voice about. Anybody who's a hockey fan that's been watching our show, it's my fault. I've let them go. I've been waiting for like the end to do hockey, and I let this guy and the other guy fucking just go off on football and baseball for like hours on end. And we get to the end of the show, it's like 10 minutes of hockey, and that's it. Fuck that noise. We're going hockey right now. A little bit of a it's not really, it's a fake controversy. It's a Devils fan tried to make a controversy about the goaltender on the New York Rangers. Let's talk about it, T. It's since Rook, a known Devils fan, wants to sit here and create the controversy, we'll address the controversy.
He definitely wanted to pull it into being almost. He threw it into the spin zone, right? But I think there definitely is the question of at what point do you get concerned about Igor Shesterkin and go to the hot hand that you have in Jonathan Quick, who, I mean, I think he has 3 Stanley Cups. So it's and the way he's playing lights out this year, it's a potential controversy because you could see them going to Quick and hoping that Igor rights the ship with a little time on the bench, maybe a little rest. But at the same time, if that hits his confidence and the confidence plummets, it would eventually create a bigger problem than we need right now. Because, I mean, let's face it, Jonathan Quick could go undefeated the whole year, right? At the end of the day, Jonathan Quick is probably gone after this year. It's just a backup goalie 1-year situation. And Igor Shesterkin is where the money lies in, right? He's the guy that's going to steer the ship of this team for the next 5, 6, 7 years. So it's a big risk reward, right? The Rangers record right now is still fantastic. And it's really not time to do something drastic and put Quick in over Shesterkin. You know, if you want to give Shesterkin maybe 2 games back-to-back rest and just let him know, listen, we just want you to get your head right, get your physicality right, you know, get a good meal in you or 2, and then we'll get right back into it. I think you can go that route, but to actually say that Quick might take Shesterkin's job, it's just not going to happen. It's just unless something comes out, dude, because I will say this, not to cut you off, Nick. Shesterkin's either not seeing the puck right now, and it's just, you know, something he has to like in his headspace, or he actually has some kind of injury that he's battling, whether it's just a tweak or a muscle pull or something like that. Something as easy as that can take that top tier goalie off their edge.
Well, not to try to get into football a little too early, but I don't think you do that. It's like benching Zach Wilson, and I'm not going to compare a 3-time Stanley Cup champion and 2-time Vezina Trophy winner in Quick to Tim Boyle or something like that.
Right.
But you hurt the confidence of the guy that you got there who's going to be there.
Right.
And obviously Igor has shown more than Zach Wilson, but the premise is still the same. Like you don't bench the guy who's going to be here tomorrow for the guy who won't be, just regardless of how hot the hand might be, because in the long run, Jonathan Quick is 37 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, so do you put a huge shock to the confidence and ability of Igor Shesterkin? You know, for the hot hand, I don't think you need it right now. I don't think you don't need it right now. We're winning games and then we're losing every third or fourth game.
Right. It's
just bad. It's just
the problem is that the Rangers, they're not games where Igor lets in 2 goals and they lose. It's games where the Rangers offense is actually showing up and they're just burying pucks in the net at a rate that Igor, I don't think we've seen ever. You know, not consecutive games. It's, you know what? The schedule's weird. We get these weird breaks of like We'll go like 4 games in 6 days and then 1 game in 7 days. And it's the oddest shit. And I don't know if maybe that's playing into it as well. But
if I can, it's not weird at all. It's the NHL. Every season, Rook and I sit here and go, I fucking hate this. Whoever schedules the NHL season, if I ever find that person in the street, there's going to be a misunderstanding. I'm going to crack his skull to the white meat because they literally just take darts, throw it at the calendar, and there's like, fuck it, you're going to play on those days. I'm surprised they don't have double headers because they just don't know what they're doing.
I was going to say, too, the one thing that like is still weird about this is like Madison Square Garden is a multi-use building, and that's an understatement, right? But a lot of things are now gone from the Garden. You don't have the week and a half of Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey being there anymore. That shit's over.
The Liberty don't play there?
Liberty doesn't play there. So you've got a lot of open space. You would think they'd be able to get a little tighter schedule. But like you said, it's just the NHL and this oddness. Wasn't it last year going into or coming out of the All-Star break? We didn't play for like six days, I want to say.
It was coming out of, we didn't play for a week. And I was sitting there going like, I felt like Julie the cat standing in the goal going like, oh, I'm so bored. There's just literally, because some days there's days where you just want to watch hockey. And you're like, you know what? Today would be a great day for some hockey. Let me turn on the MSG. Somebody's got to be playing. And then nobody's
playing. Let me hang out with my friends Joe Micheletti and Sam Rosen. Me feel better about myself.
I just need to hear Sam Rosen's voice to feel really good. Like Sam Rosen is winter.
I was going to say Sam Rosen, like if you're in a bad mood, that's like one of those sounds that would always pull you out of it. If you hear Sam Rosen go, it's a power play goal. That's like, how are you not amped, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Immediately. So I don't know where they come with the schedule, but it's not a good one. I don't think that you sacrifice any type of confidence that Igor Shesterkin might have for a W right now, simply because you don't need it. It's not like you're spiraling out of control in the early parts of the season. You're keeping it together. Igor is not playing like he normally plays, but he's not playing absolutely horrible. It's just that he's having these hiccups along the way where he's given up 7 goals, 5 goals, or whatever the case might be.
I mean, I think the thing too is, like we said, right now, the record is, proof positive that it's not time to panic. However, I think if we go on a 2 or 3 loss streak with Igor letting up 6-7 goals, then it may be. Then I think at that point it's out of everybody's hands, and it's what else are you gonna do? Because as much as we're sitting here saying you don't want to, great, Quick is having a great season. You don't want to. It's not all about the hot hand. Can Jonathan Quick perform and possibly, if he needed to, lead us into the playoffs and through the playoffs? I have all the confidence in the world in him. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing to have. Let's not rush that, though. You know what I mean? Like, I understand people are going to listen to this and be like, what, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, do you see the year Quick is having? Like, yeah, absolutely. But at what point does he get tired being 37 years old? And at what point does those numbers start to drag back to reality?
Yeah, we're third. We're tied for third in the league with 39 points, and we're 1 point behind Boston.
We're doing fine.
If we're sitting here saying that we're struggling because of Igor Shesterkin, I'm okay struggling because of Igor Shesterkin. It's one of those things like if you had Mickey Mantle batting third, do you put him at the bottom of the lineup because he's not hitting? It's fucking Mickey Mantle. Like, what are we talking about?
My man drank through 2 livers. You don't fuck with that.
That's
a fact. It's a fact.
That's factual. I mean,
you know what I mean?
The fact that you brought that up kind of leads me to the next conversation I'm willing to have. So somebody asked a great question about something that I'm a firm believer in. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And I didn't know that this was like how NFL does the top 10?
Okay.
Like top 10 defensive backs.
Yeah.
Top 10 running backs. Apparently, they have a top 10 NFL curses. Did you know that?
They have a top 10 NFL curses.
Top 10 NFL curses. And number 6 was that it's either curses or like urban legends. Joe Namath sold his soul to the devil so that the Jets would win Super Bowl III. And the terms of that contract are that the Jets will have 0 success at the quarterback position and never win for the rest of Joe Namath's life.
I mean,
I
if they
believe
say
that.
it in Little Nicky, it has to be true. I mean, Henry Winkler was in Little Nicky as Henry Winkler.
Yeah,
Covered in bees.
I 100% believe that to be true. That Joe Namath and I responded to that tweet like this has to be true because just look at it from a scientific way. I think it's fair and comparable to say that Joe Namath lived his life, a lifestyle that is very similar to that of Mickey Mantle. Is that fair?
Definitely fast and loud and enjoying every minute of it.
Drank a little bit, maybe a little too much, right? He's only 13 years. Oh, he's 12 years younger than Mickey, who died in 1995.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah. He's 1 year younger than Pele, who, for all intents and purposes, lived a pretty holistic lifestyle. Like he ate right, exercise. He played one of the games that you exercise the most in. And he died like 2 years ago, right?
Pele or a year or two ago?
Pele died recently.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, Pele, I guarantee you that, and I'm not trying to like make some like weird joke or anything like that or be disrespectful. I'm making a statement of fact. I guarantee you, Pele, the week that he passed, could outrun every single one of us.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Man lived a great life.
Like a Clydesdale dude. That I bet you that guy doesn't even get up to like a brisk little strut and he's blowing past us.
So he's 1 year younger than Pele. Pele died last year. He lived his life like a Mickey Mantle who died in 95. How the fuck is Joe Namath still alive? And I'm not sitting here wishing bad or ill on Joe Namath by any stretch of the imagination, but the shit is supernatural. It's like fucking Keith Richards.
I was gonna say, like Keith Richards cannot be killed by conventional weapons. You know, it's not even a myth. It's just it's how it is.
It's just it's wild. It's absolutely wild. So I completely believe in the Joe Namath curse. It's a real thing. The Jets will not have success as a team or at that position until the devil gets his due.
It's you know what? I'm gonna make a bold prediction here, and I know it's morbid, but if I had to put money on it, I would say that Joe Namath is gonna go in a way that would be like that's what took him, like a Mama Cass situation.
He's gonna go like that.
Or is
he gonna go like Macho Man? Where have you ever heard the I can't remember the Dan Soder like version of Macho Man dying?
Yeah, I remember watching that video.
He's just like, didn't Macho Man die in like the most Macho Man way possible? Where like he has a heart attack while driving a Jeep, pops the median, and then crashes into a tree. It's like it sounds like he almost planned this thing. He's just like, here's the idea, man. So when heart attack, pop the curb into a tree. Wow, man, that's really morbid, isn't it? Very memorable. Like it's very true. It is very memorable. So you know,
have to bolt the casket shut. Leg here, arm there.
Keep Macho Man down. Bonesaw's ready.
Bonesaw's ready. What you doing up there?
I got you.
That's a nice costume. Did your husband make it for you? I just want to point out Tobey Maguire, a huge homophobe, because of that comment in the original Spider-Man movie. I knew I always hated Tobey Maguire. I hate Tobey. I cannot stand Tobey Maguire.
Dude, the best breakdown on YouTube.
What's wrong with Bonesaw having a husband and him making his costumes for him? Nothing, folks. Nothing at all.
I think the contention in that situation for every normal straight male that is not as jacked as Macho Man would be that, like, what if he decides to be the most jacked rapist ever while you're in the cage with him? I think that's where it's like, hey, let me make a joke here because please don't rape me, sir.
Let's lighten the mood.
Yeah, like hey, let's make this not sexual, huh?
But let's talk about lightening the mood. The New York football actually has, and when I say New York football, I mean the New York City football. You know, for those of you who don't know, New York State is in fact named after New York City. So everybody that sits there and says like, "Oh, the Bills are the only only team in New York State." You guys represent Buffalo. You don't represent New York State. You only represent Buffalo. That's why you're called the Buffalo Bills, in a town that you don't even play in because you play in Orchard Park. So for all the time you sit there and go, "Oh, the Jets and the Giants play in New Jersey." That's great. They play in New Jersey. They represent New York City, and I guess conceivably they could potentially represent New York State. New York is New York. The Bills represent Buffalo, which isn't even fucking America anymore. You're in Canada at that point. I've been to Buffalo. The only good thing there is fucking Duff's, and it kind of smells like Cheerios. Other than that, it's a fucking rat hole sucking tax dollars out of this fucking mediocre state.
I'm just laughing because whenever you talk about this, it goes into such a rant.
Anyway,
you hate Buffalo.
Buffalo's fucking garbage. All right, Beef on Weck is trash, and Pearl Street is trash.
What about their wings?
There again, Duff's is good. Anchor is trash. Cute girls are not from Buffalo. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, cute girls are not from Buffalo. All right. I'm sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings. If you're from the greater Buffalo area, cute girls are not from Buffalo. It's been proven time and time again. And I don't know what to tell you. I actually have footage of it being verified in multiple fronts. That
so just if anyone wants to debunk Nick, if you're a cute girl out there, send the picture to at TJ Needs a Beer.
Yeah, thanks. Real nice.
I'll listen. I'll show it to you right now. This is not my theory. I didn't come up with this. Okay, this is a real thing that's known damn near worldwide. All right.
What are you doing? It's taking so long.
I'll tell you right now.
I'm about to drop some knowledge. Cute girls are not from Buffalo.
Am I lying? I'm not lying. All right. Anyway, back to football. New York City.
Wait. I gotta stop you for a second. You posted a video of a guy, Neil Patrick Harris, saying cute girls are from Buffalo. I'm just saying.
Why is that a problem?
I think you'll get it. Put two and two together.
Why? Because Neil Patrick Harris is gay? I think gay people know what cute girls look like. I like women know what other cute girls look like. And I think gay who know what fucking just because you're not attracted to them doesn't mean you don't. I know what a handsome man looks like despite being a straight man. TJ is a very handsome man.
That's true. I'm just.
You hear that, Carissa? Fuck you. Oh, I'm sorry.
But
that we offended so many people.
New York City football had a great weekend. 2 offensive players of the week.
Neither one of them dating girls from Buffalo. Fact.
2 offensive players of the week, both at the quarterback position for the New York Football Jets and Giants.
Oh yeah,
and I could not be happier for either team. Honestly, I got to be honest with you. I'm a little bit happier for the Jets and for Zach Wilson, only because this is his redemption story arc.
I love how he's just like, what are you going to do? Bench me again? Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. You know what? You know what's crazy?
What's happening at bench?
I watched Kurt Warner today make a whole 22 video, right? They do the all 22.
Yeah.
Do a whole video about how Josh Dobbs, who was supposed to be every Jet fan, was sitting there on the Twitterverse, sitting there going, if the Jets would have signed Josh Dobbs, we'd be the greatest team since sliced bread. JD doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Blah, 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 blah. Josh Dobbs got benched over the weekend, for those of you who don't know, playing for the Minnesota Vikings. He actually threw a pass that got Justin Jefferson, arguably one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL, injured. Now, I'm not blaming Josh Dobbs by any stretch of the imagination. Injuries happen. You could literally get out of bed and fucking tear your ACL just getting up. Shit happens. But Josh Dobbs got benched. So for everybody that was sitting there championing Josh Dobbs 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when they benched Zach Wilson, saying that if the Jets would have just signed a viable backup, anybody named Zach Wilson for that matter, then we would be far better off than we are. You're full of shit. All right. Because, but again, these problems were not Josh Dobbs' problems. And Kurt Warner did an all 22 about how, like, what do you want him to do? And right. Kurt Warner is the same guy that would be doing that for Zach Wilson, because up until this week, what would you have liked him to do? Because I don't care what anybody says. That game plan was not the same. The first freaking 3rd down conversion had 4 receivers going downfield and an outlet. We have not seen that to this point. What we saw was 2 guys going downfield with no outlet, max protection on a regular freaking play every single down. And then we're sitting there going, why isn't anybody getting open? Because you only got 2 guys going downfield and everybody else is playing max protect. That's why. If the defense doesn't believe that you're going to push the ball downfield, then they're not going to protect downfield. Right. And your game plan is not to put it downfield. TJ, you and I talked about this the other day.
Yes, sir.
Years ago, the Jets made it to the AFC Championship game. Brian Schottenheimer was the offensive coordinator. Mark Sanchez was the quarterback. It's the AFC Championship game against the Colts, and we're winning at the half. How are we winning? Mark Sanchez is letting it fly. He's throwing it out there to Braylon Edwards. We're making completions. We're throwing it out there to Jericho Cotry. We're making completions. We're winning. We're throwing it out there to Dustin Keller. We're winning at the half. And it seemed after the half, Schottenheimer sat there and said, we're getting too lucky with this passing shit. Mark's going to fuck it up. Switch to the run. And we end up fucking losing.
Yeah,
this is not the game where we kick the field goal.
That was the worst thing to watch, too, because you're just sitting there like, what are we doing? Start throwing the ball again. Go downfield. Why are we just another 3 and out? Okay. Oh, we're going to run it on 3rd and fucking 7? Okay. That was one of the worst Jet games to watch because as a fan, you're just sitting there and you know what they're doing and they're riding their heels to try to get a victory. And all you can do is scream your head off for fucking 30 minutes of football, screaming, no, stop. It's not going to work.
But at the same time, you knew that the Colts practiced to only defend the run because they didn't trust the Jets to throw the ball with Mark Sanchez. So when Mark Sanchez came out and threw the ball, they were like, whoa, we weren't planning on you throwing the ball today. And that has been every fucking Jet game since Aaron Rodgers went down.
Yeah.
All right. So they didn't trust Zach to throw the ball. And I'm not saying when I say they, I mean the defense did not prepare for Zach to throw the ball. They only prepared for the Jets to run the ball, which is why we've seen the results that we've seen in weeks past where Brees is not running for much. Dalvin's not running for much because as much as the run opens up the pass opens up the run.
Correct.
All right. This week, we're throwing on first down in the second half. The first half, not so much, but in the second half, we're throwing on first down. All right. We're throwing the ball all over the place. Zach had time in the pocket.
Yes, he did.
He had multiple receivers going downfield and an outlet to right. It's a chip block and an outlet. A chip block and an outlet. It's almost as if Nathaniel Hackett sat there and said, let me go through Twitter and see what the fans are suggesting. Since Robert Saleh wants to listen to the fans anyway and bench Zach, I might as well listen to the fans and fucking go through my offensive game planning by watching Twitter too. And he ran the offense. We've been sitting there saying run, play, action. Run, play, action. Because Zach, this year, we said it earlier in the season, Zach looks different run and play action these days. He looks like Aaron Rodgers.
So you're telling me this entire time it wasn't Zach Wilson's fault?
It's kind of what's irritating is how obvious it. The problem is, like, as sports fans, we always think we know what's right because we give it the eye test and sitting on our couch drinking beers and slamming down chicken wings, right? And that really honestly doesn't add up to much other than like the common sense sports take and, just bitching and moaning because that's all we can do. Our wives don't want to listen to us anymore, so we yell at the TV. And it takes all the abuse we can give it because we fucking paid for it, damn it. All right? So that TV's going to listen to every comment I have to make.
Personal.
And you can listen to every word I have to say.
Exactly. However, when you have these like sports personalities that have retired talking to Coach Saleh, and I'm referencing Joe Beningo, and Beningo says to Saleh, who Beningo was he wasn't high on the horse for Zach Wilson coming in, but none of us were. We were just like, whatever, it is what it is. But Beningo was one of those people that would call like, oh, this kid doesn't got it. This kid doesn't have it. And then he pulled back on it because everybody realized kind of together, like, yo, nobody's going to prosper with this team right now, the way it's set up, the way the offense is being run, how horrible the O-line is. And you have Joe Beningo ask Robert Saleh, like, yo, dude, Boyle, terrible. Like, you got to go back to Zach. And his purported response was, are you serious? It's like, yeah, what are you fucking seeing out of Boyle that gives you the confidence to say that Zach Wilson, who, I'm sorry, beat, 2 of the 3 best quarterbacks in the league early in the season?
Undefeated Eagles team.
Yeah, so I'm going to say he definitely has the tools to fucking lead this team to victory. Maybe look at your offensive coordinator and figure out why he can't set him up for success. That would be the smart thing.
As far as that Joe Benigno thing is concerned, I would argue that the context matters. And we don't know what the previous messages were, because
Listen,
the previous
Salah might have
messages,
been referencing the fact that, like, dude, you wanted him gone too. So what are you talking about? Like,
that's what I'm thinking. Is that Benigno was like, bench that guy. He's a fucking bum. I hate that kid. And then the next week, Benigno's like, hey, you need to play Zach. And Salah's like, are you serious, bro?
The
Like,
reason why I
you
don't
were
think
the
it's that,
champion
though,
Boyle.
the reason why I don't think it's that is just at the same time that drama's coming out of the Jets locker room. Oh, Zach's hesitant to start again.
I honestly think that was Tim Boyle.
You think so?
He was gone the next day. I think Tim Boyle got told, we're benching your ass because you're not fucking good. And he was like, yo, Zach doesn't even fucking want it.
Yeah, he probably went to his agent and was like, can you tell him that Zach talked to me? He was like, he doesn't want to go back out there, and just tell someone that and then leak.
I'm not saying that it wasn't said. I'm saying is that it was a private.
I'm saying it was said too. I agree with you. I'm saying it's definitely said, but then I think Tim Boyle,
he could have just been venting his frustration, looking at Tim Boyle like, you're starting over me? Fuck you, dude.
I honestly feel like
it could have been frustration. He could have been like, they benched me for you, and then they didn't even put me on the second stringer. I'm now on the emergency third quarterback.
He would it be out of the realm of possibility, and rightly so, if Zach, after getting benched and watching that shit show for 2 weeks, be like, fuck this team, man. This is a joke. You're embarrassing me at this point. You think I'm the problem?
Not at all. I feel like it's one of those situations where it's like, have you ever seen 61, where he's just like, you got a responsibility. You got to go out there to you got to go out there. I got to go out there. They fucking hate me. I'm not doing that shit. But Zach goes out there, throws for 300 yards. We did a beer and a take about this. Zach throws out there for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 fumble. But I'm not mad at the guy. Turnovers are going to happen, and it was a different offense altogether. But you know why it was a different offense? It's the same shit we've been screaming at the TV. Zach is a mediocre quarterback. Mediocre right now, that's what he is. He has the ability that he could be somebody to lift up the team at some point down the road. It's not today. If the rest of the team doesn't help him, then you lose because he's mediocre. So what we did not see on Sunday, shockingly enough, they must have put stickum on their hands or something. In the rain, no drops.
I know.
All right.
Perplexing.
No poor penalties for holding. I think the Texans had more penalties than we did.
Right.
No pre-snap fucking penalties. These are the things that resulted in the Jets winning on Sunday and Zach having a good game. That was the first time in the 3 years this kid's been on this team that the team did what Salah said in the first conversation, where it was, we will lift you up. You will not have to lift us up. That was the first time they made the catches that needed to be made. They didn't make stupid penalties. And all of a sudden, the offense looks like it can actually do its job. I'm not remotely surprised, because how much did we watch guys get called for penalties on third down, third and manageable, to make it third and long? Zach's not been turning the ball over, but Zach went out there on Sunday, played a hell of a game. I'm very proud of him. And the unfortunate thing for us as Jet fans is he's going to end up going someplace else after the season's over, because I wouldn't play for this fucking team. I would. I wouldn't, because you saw what happened when I played my way on Sunday. I can go to another franchise and go play my way in a more tolerable fan base, because New Yorkers have this crazy idea like, oh, if you can't handle New York, you're mentally not tough. No, you're fucking such an insufferable asshole. I don't want to be around you. Like, that's not something to hang your hat on as a badge of honor. Like, when you boo your own fans, you're just an asshole. Like if a player looks at the fans and gives a thumbs down, like, fuck you fans, he's an asshole. And when the fans look at their own player and go, you boo him and give him a thumbs down, they're assholes too. We're all striving to achieve the same things.
They proved the problem in New York City in Ghostbusters too. It's just a sea of hate underneath the streets and abandoned subway tunnels. That's all it is. But it's true, dude. Like last weekend, I went away to this past weekend. I went away to Pennsylvania, up in the fucking Poconos, right? Like, waking up in the morning and lighting up the fireplace in the living room, turning on the TV, and just like relaxing on this nice plush couch, going outside and jumping in a hot tub. And I'm like, wow, the world doesn't seem so bleak and dim here. Like in New York City, like I'd be waking up and listening to like somebody screaming at the neighbor, like, hey, fuck you, shut your dog up.
Yeah, like
good morning, Frank.
I hope you sleep. I remember when I moved to Staten Island from Brooklyn and I started hearing crickets. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Crickets? Give me the bus. I had the bus in front of my house before. I need the bus here. Can't sleep.
Dude, New York City is such a miserable place. Everybody's miserable. Like, and rightly so, because you're going to sit in hours of traffic to commute. Like, everything's more expensive here. People are just nasty. At any moment, you might walk down the street and see some like homeless dude just ripping a diarrhea on the street, and you got to now deal with that mental picture on your way to work.
But that's why we're miserable, though, because we guys are like an hour and a half to get to a game, sit in traffic to get there. You sit down, you just paid $150.
It's raining.
To get in.
It's raining in New Jersey.
Yeah, it's raining in New Jersey. You got $15 beers coming at you. You got $30 for a nice sandwich and some French fries. Like
Fireman Ed won't sit the fuck down. It's like, dude, it's raining and we're losing. Sit down.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what though? To get back on point, I'm proud of Zach. I honestly hope the kid has a great career because of the bullshit that he's had to put up with here. He'll end up going someplace else because at this point, I think that the leadership with the Jets and the fans have fried any relationship we possibly could have had with the kid. So congratulations, Zach Wilson, AFC Offensive Player of the Week, first 300-yard game, and good for you, Zach. And now on to the New York Football Giants, which our very own Rook will lead us in. The New York Football Giants have the NFC Offensive Player of the Week in his very own. Well, I wouldn't call him his very own because Rook's Jewish and he's Italian. But
I'm Italian.
Tommy DeVito.
I'm an Italian American. It is Maron, man. This kid can play, huh?
I have never seen an Italian American get wished a happy Hanukkah, but I have photographic evidence of somebody wishing you a happy Hanukkah on Facebook.
It doesn't matter. But anyway, Tommy DeVito, what can we say? The kid did everything he's supposed to be doing. He's 3-1 right now as a starter. I know people are trying to say, oh, he's only played the Patriots, Commanders, and Packers. But
are they NFL teams? Are they NFL teams?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying
great call,
I hate that. I hate that. Before I let you riff, I fucking hate that because at how many times we saw the Jets beat the Eagles, and the Eagles fans were probably walking into that game like, "Oh, it's just the fucking Jets." Yeah, what happened?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not downplaying what he did. I'm saying
I know what you're saying, but I just hate that. Right off the gate, I fucking hate that.
And it sucks because people are like, oh, well, let's see what it is about against the Packers. Then he beat the Packers, like, oh, well, the Packers aren't any good anyway. Let's see what he does against the Saints next week. So, like, we're just going to keep moving the goal line back and then just say, all right, well, who did he beat now? I hope he goes to New Orleans, wins there, Christmas Day at the Link with some nice cutlets beforehand, right? Some 7 fishes in his belly from the night before, and beats the Philadelphia Eagles, and that would be amazing. Okay,
I don't understand how Italian Americans allow themselves to be bastardized in this way. You know what I mean? Like, dude, seeing his agent wearing that fucking reject suit and like, it was fucking disgusting, dude. It really was.
We'll get to that. Can I talk about little Tommy DeVito, the way he plays? I didn't interrupt you guys. You guys talk about Zach Wilson for a really long time, so let me talk about Tommy DeVito.
He's worth talking about.
He rushed for over 70 yards. He almost had a touchdown. He almost had a touchdown. If it wasn't for Wan'Dale Robinson tackling him at the 1, which is just one of those stupid Giant things. Saquon has that stupid fumble that he's like stumbling and just can't hold on to the ball. He holds onto the ball. The game's over. We don't have to worry about that. What
the fuck was that fumble, man?
He was stumbling. He was hit.
I know. I saw it. I'm not asking you the question. I'm thinking of if Saquon was in front of me, that would be I'd be like, bro, seriously?
Like, what was that? And they would have sealed the game. They would have been in prime field goal range at least.
I was an inner Jets fan trying to stop the Giants from winning.
Yeah, I was like, it's the Giants doing Giant things, and it was like so frustrating because then the Packers score, you're down 1. They stopped a 2-point conversion, which was huge at that point. So defense played really well that game as well. And then you get Tommy DeVito coming down, making an awesome throw to Wan'Dale Robinson. And Wan'Dale Robinson had a great game, which is like, I don't think I've ever said that about Wan'Dale Robinson yet. Like, he's just been, I know he's been injured, but that kid's explosive. He's got some really good speed. He had that huge run with Saquon. It was like a wildcat. Saquon took the snap, handed off to Wan'Dale. He came around. That was a really nice play. He had the big play, the flea flicker downfield. He caught that ball. So Wan'Dale Robinson was playing awesome. Tommy DeVito's taking care of the football. He's avoiding sacks. He was sacked 28 times in his first, and in the 5 games that he's played. He started
David
4.
Carr.
Yeah, 28 times in 5 games. He was sacked 0 times in this game against the Packers, which was huge. He's very elusive. He's very athletic, which I don't know if people knew that about him, but he has good escapability to get out of the pocket, avoid those sacks. I don't know. I'm happy with the way he's taking care of the football, and he's showing his athleticism. I don't know. There's nothing else to say about this kid. He's
let's go a couple things. One, I'm very happy for the kid. Good for him.
Yeah,
I thought
it is a great story. It is a great story for the NFL.
I thought it was very unfair that people made fun of him for living with his parents, because the truth of the matter is like he doesn't know where he'll play next season. So why would he buy a house in New Jersey if he lives in New Jersey? Why would he rent an apartment in New Jersey if his family lives in New Jersey? He could save $1, and he doesn't know where he's going to be playing next season because he's not under contract for multiple years.
No, he's not. And now I mentioned he's undrafted. Those guys don't get paid that much. He's from practice squad. He obviously got an increase when he got moved to the actual team, but he was in practice squad.
Practice squad makes like $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
Which is not. I'll let you know right now. If you're not from the New York, New Jersey area, that's not a lot of money.
But I know when they said when that article came out, they did say that he's made $4 million so far being an NFL player.
For the
career-wise, as far as signings and like whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So he's made like $4 million, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's a lot of money. You could buy it." It's like, okay, now take out your agent fees, your lawyer fees. Let's take out everything, taxes. And what do you end up with for your career that he may have to live off of? Because at this point, who knows if he'll ever get off this practice squad, right? Up until that point, it's like, okay, now after all that's taken out, he's maybe sitting on $1.6 million, and everybody's sitting there like again, $1.6 million is a big lump sum if I hand it to you in a casino, right? In a briefcase full of cash. Awesome. To live off that the rest of your life as your football career, not a lot of money when you're a 20-something-year-old kid.
And he definitely has to get some sort of financial advisor right now to make sure that 1.6, whatever's left over from taxes at the $4 million, make that last a little bit longer.
Well, not only that, you live with your parents help you invest that in the right spot.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that, hold on,
I don't hate on it.
Before we move on from the basement thing, you got to remember, like, people sitting there thinking like, oh, basement, like, you know, you're thinking a Brooklyn apartment, basement apartment, stuff like that. Like, basements in New Jersey are like houses by themselves.
Yeah, I Jersey somewhere.
I know a guy from New Jersey whose basement has an amazing carpet.
It had.
I'm just saying, I live in Staten Island. My basement is finished. I have a bedroom in my basement and a bathroom, and it could be an apartment, but it's not. The only thing I don't like about Tommy DeVito, and it's not Tommy DeVito's fault.
It's not his fault. I know what you're going to say, the Italian American stuff.
He's a fucking caricature.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It really is. To have everybody sitting there going, Gabagool, mozzarella, give me the fresh mozz. Yeah, Tommy Cutlets. You people are fucking embarrassing.
You know what, though? They leaned into it. I appreciate that because, you know, sometimes if you're to stereotype a certain group of people, they get very offended. So
the Italians are the ones doing it.
We take it.
Fucking Anglos didn't do that shit. The Staten Italians and the fake Italians in New York and New Jersey are the ones that say, yeah, Tommy Cutlets with the fresh mozz. Yeah, Gabagool. Yeah. The ones that can't even pronounce their last names when their last name is in Italian would be Mignosi or D'Amico, and they call themselves D'Amico or Mignozzi's. Like, yeah, those Italians, the fake ones that can't pronounce Italian words.
I was going to say,
they're the ones making him a character.
They did that huge tailgate with just chicken cutlets and fresh mutts and rest.
Right, but the problem is Italian Americans from like Brooklyn and Staten Island are already a fucking caricature of Italian Americans. Like it's not even a joke. They are like, I have friends that have parents that came here from Italy, right? Like English is their second language. They don't say mozz. You mean a mozz. They don't say mozzarella. It's mozzarella. That like
there's an A at the end of that word.
I hate that shit. And people lean into that like, that's the fucking Sammy. Like, oh my God, please get hit with a brick. I fucking hate it, dude. Like, I really do. I'm Irish and Italian and Czechoslovakian. I know, weird.
Weird.
Odd combination.
That's how you slip that in there. Czechoslovakian. That country doesn't even exist anymore.
You know, that's how I grow this nice beard. But you know, it doesn't exist anymore. That's a fact. But it's embarrassing when like you lean into the like. I don't want to get us canceled and start leaning into other stereotypes that like, you know what I mean? But that it's the same fucking thing. Like it'd be funny every once in a while, but yeah, exactly. Whoa, hey, whoa. Exactly. Dude, I feel like I'm watching. I feel like I'm watching every time this shit goes on, especially during the Giant game. I feel like I'm watching My Blue Heaven with what's his name, Steve Martin, be acting like a gangster. Tell me that's not exactly what it is. It's like a joke of it.
Here's the thing, though. We're all laughing about it. Like, we're all having a good time.
No, it's annoying because I know people like this. That fucking douchebag with that stupid suit. That douchebag with that stupid suit, his fucking agent. I've seen people walking around ShopRite in Staten Island like that. It's like, where the fuck do you think you are, dude? Because a homeless man was just digging in the Olive cart with his bare hands. It's not a place you wear a suit.
So as we move on from the Jets and Giants, in other football news, Patrick Mahomes embarrassed himself greatly this year.
Wimp. Whiny
crying like a baby that his team lost because of a bad call. Apparently the first bad call in his career. Because usually he's the beneficiary of the bad calls against the Jets. And all of a sudden he is on a crusade. The Injured List podcast, it loves the proud Italian stereotype. That's the Injured List has a proud American.
Twins.
Listen, I'm a proud Italian American as well. Jewish. However, it just I feel like it's like I don't know. I know too many people that are actually like that. That it's not a joke. It's like no, that's their persona.
Rick, if I learned anything from Family Guy, it's Italians are not Jews. Okay, just so you know. There's a whole skit about it, okay?
Rook is going to sue us. He's going to sue our own podcast.
That's right. He can sue himself.
I'll win.
He's my representation, and everybody knows the only man who's his own the man who represents himself in court has a fool for an attorney. But Patrick Mahomes outright embarrasses himself. Yeah. And truthfully, I had so much respect for Patrick Mahomes because I thought to myself, how could this man be involved with his wife and his brother? But they're the two most obnoxious human beings to ever walk the face of the planet Earth. My estimation of Patrick Mahomes as a man plummeted.
Yeah.
It's turn. We all hate you now.
On the reverse, like we said, on the reverse, kudos to the Bills Mafia for like leaning into it and sending boxes of tissues to Arrowhead Stadium and tampons and different feminine products, because that's exactly the response you should have. And all these butthurt Chiefs fans that think that's like offensive and not funny, it's like timeout. They're A, spending their own money, B, ribbing you in a playful way, not being derogatory in any sort of way. It's fun. The last time I checked, it's better than getting fucking sacked or hit from the blind side, right? Like, it's supposed to be if you can't handle ball busting, you're a fucking loser.
You offended all the women in Kansas City. But Patrick Mahomes, we're booing you collectively. We got to get on, but we're going to boo you.
Wait, can I say one thing now? It was so lame of him to be like, that ruined Travis Kelce's legendary career.
Oh, my God.
I think he was just grabbing for straws at that point.
First of all,
we're not a Kansas City podcast, but if we were, we'd be talking about this for an hour and a half.
But it's also like you just like downplayed Travis's career that he needed this one play to make him legendary. Like he's legendary already. The only thing that's ruining him right now is Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like the
drive
on Patrick Mahomes is
whiskey of the week.
What are you drinking, T?
Tonight after pretty awesome Jets and Giants wins, right? Offensive players of the week, both quarterbacks. Gotta go with the good stuff. A little Old Forester, single barrel. Nice. Barrel strength, 66.25% alcohol, 132 proof, 132.5, excuse me. That 0.5 makes a difference. High proof bourbon, but as far as the proof goes, this is very smooth. It's very sweet. And it's one of the most well-rounded bourbons I have that is up above that like 115 mark. The proof doesn't come through at all. This bourbon's absolutely amazing. I can't sing it enough praises. It's a bitch to get. MSRP on these things is $100 a bottle, and you'd be lucky if you could find one sitting in your local liquor store. But just honestly, this thing bangs. It punches up. You know what I mean? That $100 price mark, I'd pay $200 to $300 for this bottle easily because it's that good.
Nice.
Yeah. What are you boys drinking on?
Brooks, you drinking anything?
I'm a little bit under the weather.
I hear you. Tonica, you don't want to indulge.
Hey, Bills fans, if you have any of those feminine products left over, send them to Rook's house. He lives in.
I'm actually drinking Dalwhinnie. I want to say it with the H, the hard
Nice.
H. Oh, Dalwhinnie. Just so for those of you who don't know, Scotch, like most whiskeys, is a whiskey. Scotch is a whiskey. It's just a whiskey from Scotland. Bourbon is a whiskey from America, from a certain county, made in a certain way.
No, not from a certain county.
I'm gonna sit there and say it's from fucking certain counties.
Wrong.
Everything else is a farce. It's like champagne, not made in Champagne,
No, the
France.
only thing bourbon has to be, it has to be 51% corn, and it has to be aged in new oak barrels. That's it.
I'm gonna say
American
if you don't make
oak.
it in Kentucky, you're 51% whack. And Irish whiskey is made in Ireland, but Scotch is whiskey. So I'm drinking Dalwhinnie, which is a single malt, and this thing is delicious. I opened this originally a while ago, as you can see, and I just it's been sitting inside my case for a bit. It's not anything special that I had it in the case. It looks like a nice bottle, so I put it in the case. It's actually has a really great finish. It's a lot of woodiness to it. It reminds me of when you're a kid and you chew on your baseball glove.
I'm with you. That dude, in the heat of the sun, in the summer,
Leather.
just biting on the leather, dude. Little saltiness in there.
Yeah, it has a little salty. I'm telling you, this tastes like baseball glove, 100%. If you find a bottle, it's the 15. It's the Dalwhinnie 15. If you find it, it tastes like baseball glove. Prove me wrong.
You can't say that. Like I think that I love that. I love that reference because you didn't play baseball if you didn't chew on your glove. If you don't know exactly what he's talking about, you didn't play the game.
I kept that long
mentioning
string on
it?
my hard hide.
Like you mentioned it, I like had that like reminiscence.
Your mouth get watery?
Yeah, like I felt like I tasted it in my mouth when you said it.
We drive on. This week the Yankees introduced Juan Soto. Juan Soto, their new left fielder. And Alex Verdugo shows up and he's clean shaven, which I'm very disappointed with. If anything that kid could have brought to the Yankees, it would be a little disobedience. I can't stand him. I think he's an asshole human being. But if you're going to be an asshole, go all the way. Don't fucking shave, you fucking coward. So you're an asshole to your fellow baseball players, but to the corporate people, you bow down like a bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Be a bad boy all the way.
We're not gonna like Verdugo. I can just tell.
I can't stand Alex Verdugo. I think he's a douchebag.
Me too. I don't like him. I hate that they traded for him. So
I hope game one, some kid falls out of the upper deck and he catches him. And he's just like, yeah.
I hope halfway through the season, Jason Dominguez comes back and we send Alex Verdugo away. I hope he has a great first half and we trade him away for something more valuable than anything that we could possibly have. That's what I really hope for what happens with Alex Verdugo. But Shohei Ohtani gets introduced as the Dodgers new player. But before we get into Ohtani and his contract, because that's why we have Rook here, full-time lawyer, part-time podcaster. Breaking news within the last hour, Tyler Glasnow traded from the Rays to the Dodgers, pending an extension.
Wow.
So Cillian Murphy is now playing for the Dodgers.
Yeah. So
explosive.
I mean, listen, the Dodgers are going for broke, right?
Yeah.
Who knows if they end up with Yamamoto or the Yankees do, whatever it is.
They have the cash.
Of course they have the cash. When you're only paying $2 million per year to your player and deferring $68 million of it, it's a joke, dude. It's silly. It's embarrassing. Let's put it in perspective, right? Because everybody's gonna sit there like, $2 million is still more than you make. Like, yeah, no fucking shit. It's more than you make too, cocksucker. But Lazard on the Jets is making $11 million this year, cash in hand.
To be fair, Ohtani will make $50 million in endorsements. In Japan.
Right, I understand that. I understand that. But it still doesn't make sense to take less than 5% of your paycheck for 10 years straight. Right? Like, it's just, dude, think about it, because you know what? If he took that extra $68 million, take half away for taxes or whatever you got to do, okay, even if he kind of moderately invested that $30 million, at the end of those 10 years, he'd be sitting on a lot more. And the Dodgers are going to make interest on that money that they don't have to pay. and be able to spend the money they don't have to pay. And the funniest thing I saw was fucking TikTok of Leonardo DiCaprio from The Wolf of Wall Street, and the AI voice dubbed in him essentially saying like when they were paying off the feds and stuff like that, saying that like, and after 10 years we just sell the team and it's not our problem anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
the thing about this though,
happen.
the thing is about this though is you should be happy about this because the liberal state of California won't get as much tax money now.
Which is good, but it's still like he's getting paid $70 million a season, correct? Yet it only goes against the luxury tax for $46 million. How? That's not a small chunk of change. That's a huge fucking amount of signing that they can make.
No, but he avoids taxes. He avoids taxes.
I understand he avoids taxes, but what I'm saying is why have a luxury tax when you know they're paying a player $70 million a season to play, and now you're essentially trying to cut that in half and say like, oh well, he's only getting paid X, Y, and Z, so it only hit. Get rid of the luxury tax then.
I think the luxury tax. I think the luxury tax is ridiculous. Any salary cap is ridiculous. There are no poor teams. There's just poor investors. That's it. And when I say poor investors, I don't mean people that don't have money. I mean people that don't want to invest. They're poor as owners. They don't want to invest in the team because they want to take as much money out of the team. I don't know if anybody looked at the stats last season about who the most profitable team in Major League Baseball was. Can you guys guess who it was?
Probably the A's.
The Oakland Athletics were the most profitable team based on return on investment. They invested like $6 million into their franchise, and they made $30 million.
Yeah.
Nobody else is making 5 times their investment. Nobody. The Yankees don't make $1 billion a year. They don't. They might make $500 million, but they don't make $1 billion. They're paying $250 million a year in payroll, and they're making maybe 200% on their investment. The Oakland Athletics are making 500% on their investment. Their owner is not poor. He's just a dickhead who's greedy and doesn't care about the team. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, well, he bought that team. He didn't buy it because he wanted to win a championship. He bought it because he saw an investment.
He wanted to make money. He wanted to make money.
Well,
So that's what the case is. Anybody else in Major League Baseball can do the deferred money thing. The Mets have been doing it for a year as we celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day every year. I think like that. He might be like the 12th most valuable player on the Mets.
But the problem with the Bobby Bonilla deal, right, is the Bobby Bonilla deal is very much a good deal for Bobby Bonilla, right? Yeah. Shohei Ohtani not taking $68 million of his $70 million a year and then investing it or doing whatever he wants to do with that money. How is that helping him? I understand he's going to beat taxes.
He's going to be the California taxes 100%. So now instead of having to pay 40% of his salary in taxes, he pays 0. He'll pay 10. Whatever the Japanese tax is, he'll pay.
Yeah,
which might be nothing. Conceivably, he could move to a country that has no tax and pay no taxes.
I think
you federal only.
I think you have to pay a little bit of tax on it.
Yeah, I was going to say you're definitely paying U.S. tax.
It's not as bad as it would be. Right, had he been living in California during this.
Well, if he could turn around and say, "I want my taxes to go through like fucking Delaware or Texas, a low tax state."
Well, it doesn't have to go. It doesn't have to go through a New York, an American state. He just has to pay federal. He could literally move to a country that has no fucking tax, and he'll pay federal, and that's it. He doesn't live in the United States.
Yeah, I get it, but he'd make more money if he had it in his hand just on good investments. If he had a good financial guy.
Yeah, but he's getting $50 million a year in endorsements.
I understand, dude. I understand. I understand what you're saying, but let's take your salary every year from your job, correct?
How much is
let's say you make that more than that on the side. Are you going to allow your boss to just be like, yeah, I'm only going to give you less than 5% of your salary, and you're going to show up to work every day?
That's not why he's doing it.
It doesn't matter. I understand why he's doing it.
But hold on, T. We're not talking about normal person numbers.
Yeah.
Nobody needs $58 million, $60 million, $70 million a year to live happily and comfortably.
If
you gave me $11 million right now, I'd live super comfortable for the rest of my life.
Listen, you fucking commie. You go yourself to a fucking state that allows socialism. Okay, this is capitalism fucking 101. If this motherfucker wants to buy a yacht, it doesn't matter if he needs it or not. You own a truck, correct? Do you need a car to get to work? No, you don't. So don't act like everything's based on need and want. If this fucking guy wants to take $100 million and run away to Vegas,
because he's not getting his money up front.
I'm not saying that. Why would you fucking allow money to stay on the table to your employer? Who does that as an employee?
On it.
Wait, can I just explain
Again,
something?
he will make more money if he took that money and invested it, or took that money and ran a business. He'd make more money on his money if it was in his hand than saving on taxes.
Wait. Quick, though. He's going to have the money when he's 40. He's going to be retired by then. Your endorsements are not coming in that much anymore.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand we're running out of time right now, but literally in 10 years, do you understand what fucking perpetuity on that kind of money, if he just put it in the fucking bank, right? Do you understand what $68 million 10 years from now would be worth with fucking compounding interest?
Yes,
so
but he still wouldn't be able to
doesn't mean shit.
You wouldn't be able to spend it, dude.
And he wouldn't be getting.
I guarantee you, I could fucking spend it.
You absolutely could not, and that's all our time. We'll catch you next week. TJ's not spending that money. Have a good night,
hookers. I love you so much.